Today I fucked up by taking it too far in bed. So, I've 26M, been seeing this girl, 32F, and I like her. I haven't been in literally any type of relationship probably since I was 21, I truly had no desire. I guess you could say I'm a little out of practice. When it comes to sex, we've been pretty communicative about what we want from each other and it's been pretty good. Something I've noticed is that she goes back and forth as to what she's into, which is fine. For example, one day she might like my hand around her neck and then the next she wants my hand as far away from her neck as possible. Lately, she's been telling me she wants me to take charge, be more dominant, throw her around, etc. Tonight I decided to do just that. We were going at it, everything was good. I flipped her over and put myself in her mouth and she really didn't like that. She's pissed. I can't even say I don't understand. It felt right in the moment, I thought she'd be into it. She left and doesn't want to talk to me. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight, I feel really bad about the situation. I wish I could have done it different, but I didn't and I can't. I accept that, now I just wish I could sleep. Too long did not read. Stuck my willy in a girl's mouth thinking she'd be into it. She wasn't and now she's pissed and I can't stop thinking about it. Communication is the foundation of anything sexual, especially when it leans into kinks and BDSM. If you're gonna continue doing stuff together, she's gonna need to be direct on what she wants and is okay with if she wants you to take control more often, it's that simple. Doesn't sound like it's your fault. Boundaries were not set properly and assumptions were made. If I told my partner I wanted her to be in charge after we had been exploring more kink, then I wouldn't be surprised if she did something like that. It would be a stop or a guiding hand to adjust the activities and a conversation afterwards. Maybe it's a case of wants you to take control, but only to do things she likes. Giphy, US0RC9RCP0SEH9T, downsized. In this particular session, was it communicated or was it assumed based on past discussion, behavior? Regardless, it is odd that she would leave and not speak to you. If that happened with my partner, the most would be a, no, that's not what I want right now. It stops and that would be the end of it. Mouth play is a thin line, some women really enjoy it, some don't. Was she ever okay with it before? Today I fucked up by renting a penthouse office for motivation, and now I'm stuck in a 3-year lease I can't use. A few months ago, I launched my own company, sales and marketing consulting, and when I was picking out an office, I wanted somewhere that felt inspiring. Something that made it feel real. So I went a bit overboard and signed a 3-year lease on this beautiful penthouse unit downtown. Huge windows, skyline views, rooftop access, felt like the kind of place where big ideas happen. Figured it would help with motivation, hosting clients, etc. And to be fair, for the first couple of months, it was amazing. I actually looked forward to going into work. But here's where I messed up. I didn't plan for growth properly. Fast forward to now, 7 months in and I've already outgrown the space. I started solo, but we've added a few people and suddenly it's like playing Tetris with desks. I've got one guy working at the kitchen counter and another in a corner that technically might be a closet. We're getting more business, which is great, but now I can't hire who I need because I literally have nowhere to put them. So I need a bigger office. Like, yesterday. But I'm locked into this damn 3-year lease on my motivational views, and breaking it is either gonna cost me a fortune or just completely tank my cash flow. The landlord isn't exactly rushing to let me out of it either. Apparently, inspiring aesthetics isn't a valid clause for early termination. Now I'm scrambling to figure out how to sublease or if I just eat the cost and move anyway. I feel like I created the most expensive LinkedIn background photo ever. Too long did not read. Rented a fancy penthouse office to feel like a boss, didn't think I'd outgrow it in 7 months. Now I'm stuck in a 3-year lease with no room for new hires and nowhere to put them. Great views, terrible planning. Start looking for new space, allow hoteling and remote work option. Have frank conversation with the landlord and see if they have another space in the building you can occupy and they'll let you shift your lease to. They'll be more accommodative if you switch in their building. Hire people who work from home, it is so simple for office work. Talk to the landlord not about canceling the lease but about switching over to a larger space. He may be more willing to work with you if he is still renting to you. Don't be a prick and encourage WFH. What is cheaper, a new office location or Slack and Google Drive? This reads like AI. Today I fucked up by not realizing my camera was on during a virtual onboarding session. This was literally last week and I'm still trying to pretend it didn't happen. So I got hired for a remote role. First day was one of those group onboarding Zoom calls. Like 12 new hires and 2 HR people walking us through systems and policies and all that. I'm sitting at my desk in pajama shorts and a hoodie, still half asleep, camera off, or so I thought. They're talking about company values or whatever and I kinda zone out and start eating cold leftover spaghetti straight from the container. No fork. Just caveman ing it with my hands. I thought I was invisible. I was not. Mid-slurp I hear, Zach? I think your camera's on. I look up and see my own greasy little face just chomping away in full gallery view. Spaghetti hand. Hoodie hood halfway over one eye. Like a cryptid caught on film. I panicked, slammed my laptop shut like that would reverse time or something. Reopened it, turned camera off, tried to act like my connection had dropped. Nobody said anything else, but I know they saw. Chat was too quiet after that. So yeah, pretty sure my first impression at this job is, guy who eats spaghetti with his hands at 9 a.m. on a Monday. Too long did not read. Thought my camera was off during remote onboarding, ate cold spaghetti with my hands, it very much was not off. Bro lol, tell them you're Pastafarian so they can't fire you. It was actually a morning religious rite. Meh, amateur. One of my old colleagues thought he'd muted and turned his camera off so he could eat lunch during a meeting he had not. Got all the crunching, snuffling, belching and farting at full volume. 2 embarrassing incidents committed by my coworkers. 1. We have a large, international company. During conference calls with 100 people, there's always one fool who forgets to mute their microphone. So one guy was heard yammering, in a foreign language I don't understand, probably Indian, and suddenly we all hear, "Are you authorized to work in the US?" Moron was doing an interview with a recruiter during an all-hands. 2. One female coworker was having an argument with her spouse. We all heard, "This marriage is a sham." Honestly wasn't even good spaghetti. Just sad fridge noodles with no sauce. It sort of makes me happy that there are people who live without anxiety of a thing like this. This could not happen to me. I'm way too anxious about it happening. The fact that they only mentioned this when you were slurping the spaghetti makes me think you'll be fine. Today I fucked up giving my stool sample at a laboratory. I-29M recently started a new medication which was causing bloating and constipation. I went to a clinic nearby and saw a general practitioner, and based on my medical history he recommended that I do a stool, poo, test. I've never done it before so had no clue how it worked and was a bit embarrassed. Prior to my appointment I had to wait at the GP for about 40 minutes because of delays. I had parked my car a couple of streets away and had only 1 hour parking, so was in a rush to move it. My gut issues were also causing brain fog and anxiety, and as a result I made a blunder and did not collect the stool sample kit. I was not even aware that I was supposed to do this and didn't know what a stool sample kit was. I managed to move my car on time without copping a fine and continued with my day. I made sure that I ate plenty of fruits and vegetables and drank lots of water. The next morning I took a new 2L Tupperware container and filled it with poo, closed the lid, put the container in a paper bag and put in an envelope and drove to the laboratory. I went to the desk, gave them the paperwork from the doctor, and when asked for the sample took out the Tupperware and kept it on desk. The attendant, a lady in her late 40s, was shocked and had a look of horror on her face and said, "You are supposed to collect the sample kit from the lab and bring it back to us." She showed me the sample kit and it was container size of my finger with a tiny spoon. I was standing there like an idiot with this Tupperware full of poo. The attendant started laughing. I've never been more embarrassed in my life. But it gets worse as one of the lab assistants show up, which turns out to be a girl from my CrossFit class. As the attendant was trying to explain her what happened, I stormed out. I ended up submitting my sample at a location 20 kilometers away from my house at a different branch and haven't been to CrossFit class for a week. I have this feeling that everyone knows and it's driving me crazy. Too long did not read. I was asked to do a stool test, did not collect the stool sample kit and submitted a kilogram of poo in a 2-liter Tupperware container. I know this is hard emotionally, but none of the people at that clinic woke up one day and decided, "I'm going to play with samples for a living." They're medical professionals who went to school, got training for this, and honestly you probably made everyone's week in an otherwise pretty monotonous job with a lot of paperwork. I promise, it'll never come up if you see the woman from your CrossFit class again. If it does, there's boards you can rightfully report her to for breaching confidentiality. She can't even legally acknowledge she's seen you at work unless you do first. I'm sorry, but that is amazingly hilarious. I wouldn't even be embarrassed if that happened to me. I would genuinely be telling all my friends about it. I've worked in a lab for 10 plus years. We've received worse, wrapped in toilet paper in a Ziploc bag. I'm not actually surprised that you thought to use your own container not knowing there was a correct one. It was completely unprofessional that they laughed at you. We would normally reserve that for behind closed doors with no patients in hearing range, like the time someone brought in a sperm sample in a Ziploc bag from home. We had to straight-face tell them it had to be fresh and in a sterile container. The job is often very stressful and it's important to have comedic relief when we can, but never where it would make someone feel bad. I'm thinking maybe the real story here isn't just the oversized sample, but how incredibly resourceful someone was to transport that much. material, and I guess I just hope they found a way to laugh it off eventually because I would really be mortified, and that cat of mine would probably be judging me extra hard if I pulled a stunt like that. Don't be embarrassed. My dad brought in a stool sample in a Ziploc bag and plopped it right on the desk for the nurse. Well, shit.